Hi everybody and welcome back. I am a hacker and it's really nice to have you on board. In this video, we'll look at what API mass assignment is, what SQL injection is, and how you can exploit a website with it. We'll also look at how to exploit the broken access controls, as well as we'll look at broken authentication. We'll also look at how to expose the sensitive data or how to get sensitive data exposure. And in the last, we'll look at how the improper input validation can be exploited in a website. We'll look at all of these things in Owasp Sharp as we are doing it from last 5 to 6 videos. So if you are not familiar with what we are doing, you should watch our previous 5 videos and you would know. In that, we explored just a little bit of XSS. We also explored some of the SQL injection in it, and we explored a lot of different stuff in it. Anyway, if you're interested how to set it up and how to do certain challenges in it, we are already having 23% of the things already done in it. So if you want to know how these are done, you can just watch all of the previous videos. Anyway, I will link all of those down in the description. So let's get started with our challenges. The first challenge that I want to do is related to SQL injections. So let's do that. The first thing I would do, I would copy the link and I would try to access the administration dashboard. Let it get opened up and we'll open the Owasp Sharp in another tab as well. Now we do have right over here the Jim's email. Now I will go to the main page of Owasp Sharp and click on logout and then again click on login. In the login, I need two things. The first thing is the email address of Jim. The second thing is the password of Jim. As from the administration, I do have the Jim's email address, but I don't have the password for Jim. So there is a technique used for logging in without a password. And in order to learn that technique, like for understanding that technique, we need to first understand how the login works. So in login, we always have a query like select something that could be either static or something, select static from, and then the table name, which is users in the juice shop case. And then we have a where condition, and in the where we say username or email in the juice shop case equal to email and password equal to password. So this is the query that's always used in the login. Now we do have this query satisfied till here. So what I can do is I can close out this query right over here, and then I can comment down the rest of the query with these double dashes or double minus, whatever you want to call it. Now applying this same rule right over here, I will add a single quote and then 2 double quotes, and then add any password because this part of the query is already commented. So whatever I write, it doesn't really matter. And as soon as I click on login, you would see that I have been logged in. So just to recap, in order to perform an SQL injection on a login that allows an SQL injection, we need to first understand how the login works. So here is the query for login, which means which is just select star from users where email is equal to email and the password is equal to password. Now we do have email address for Jim. So this up till this part of the query, we do have everything okay and the condition gets satisfied, but we don't have password. That's why we need to find a way or find a certain technique in order to comment down this part of the query and work with just the first part of the query. So for doing that, we need to first close down the query, and that's done with a single quote, and then comment down the rest of the query. That's done with 2 dashes. So now that we know that we can perform this kind of SQL injection on this Owasp Sharp, what we can do is we can exploit the same kind of, we can complete the same kind of conditions. So we also have a similar challenge that says do the bender or hack the bender. So we do have the email address for the bender as well, which is right over here in the administration section. So I'll do the same thing with it. I will paste the email address of bender, then add a single quote and 2 dashes and add anything for the password. And voila, we have the challenge done. I know we have one for Amy as well. The gym is done. Here, that is the Amy's one. But I think it asks for the original. Let's try it out and we'll see if that works. So let's find the Amy's email address first. Here is the email address for Amy. I will click on logout, then again on login, and then paste the email address, add a single quote and 2 dashes, enter anything for the password, and either we have done the challenge or not. No, the challenge is not done yet. Anyway, these were the challenges related to SQL injection and logging in with the SQL injection with just having the email address. Now let's do another one that's related to resetting the password. So let's work with first the gym, because we do have the gym email address. In order to perform the password reset, we need to go to the forgot password and we need to examine what it asks for. In order to reset the password for gym, we need to understand how the forgot password works. So I just click on this forgot password and I opened it up in the new in a new tab. I will just enter the email address of gym, which is gym@juice.app. Right over, once I leave the email address for the gym, you can see that we do have a security question for Jim, which is his eldest sibling name. Now we need to find out this security question by using a brute force attack. Then and only then we can set or reset the password of Jim. So for doing that, first I will go to Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever you are using, and I will find out the names. Let's just search for top 100 names used in last 100 years. Once I search for that, I will find a big long list or a lot of lists. So it's always better to start with a small list and then go all the way up. If the small list doesn't work with brute force, you can always get a bigger list. In my case, I will just copy and paste this 100 names, the list of 100 names. Like right now, the data is not in structure form, so I will just copy everything and open up LibreOffice Sheets. And once that gets opened up, I will copy and paste whatever I have copied from the website, and then leaving everything and just copying the names or the list of the names. Once I copy that from the sheets, I will come back over to the Owasp Juice Shop and enter anything that's enter something for the security question, enter something for the password. It doesn't really matter what that is, and click on change just to examine the request. Okay, so the request just went through. Let's examine it in the burp. So here is that request that we needed. I will just come over to that post request and just click on send to intruder, and just the intruder tab just lit up. Anyway, I will just click on the position tab and then click on clear in order to clear everything, and just select the answer and click on add in order to just select the answer for the payload. Then I will click on payload and then paste whatever I have copied from the Libra sheets. Once that gets copied in, I will just click on uncheck the URL encode and then start the attack in the intruder. So it will take some time. It will take some time in order to find out the name, the eldest sibling names for Jim, and it will report me back. But in the meantime, let's understand the functionality of this resetting password once more. So what I did was, like, I was already having the email address of Jim, which I got from the administration section, and we find this link in our previous videos. If you don't understand what that is and what it's doing, you can always go back and watch our previous videos. Anyway, once you have the email address for Jim, now we need another thing, and that is the security question. So we don't have security question right over here. So I just entered something wrong, and just enter password and username and click on change, and then examine the request in burp, which was right over here in the proxy. The request is reset user reset password. Rest user reset password. And then I sent this request to intruder. I copied the list of popular names from this website and pasted in Google in Libra Sheets, and then copied the required names. And now we are running a brute force attack on it. So let's give it some time in order to complete the brute force attack and find out what kind of name the Jim has used for his security answer, and I will see you once the brute force attack is over. Okay, so the brute force attack is not yet complete, but it's halfway through. And I'm sure it did found out the original name. Anyway, the first thing I always like to do is arrange the length of this brute force attack in descending order, and then examine everything step by step. So I think this is the answer for the security question, because you can see all of these lengths are the same beside this one, which is the Samuel one. And you straight away find that out by arranging the length in descending order. So I'm pretty sure that the Samuel one is the one. So I'll stop the brute force attack, copy the Samuel, and come back over to the juice shop where it's resetting the password. And you can see we have just reset the password. Now let's reset it once more by giving it security question, new password, repeat password, and the email address, and by clicking change password. And you have successfully changed the password. Now we can do the same thing for other people's as well, whose passwords needs to be reset. The Monty also wants its password to be reset. Let's copy the email address of Monty, paste his email address in the forgot my password, and he has also a name. So let's enter something and let's reset his password like so, and it will say you have the wrong password. Let's do the same thing with it. So right over here we have the request. I will send it to intruder. I will come back over to the intruder, close out the previous requests, come back to the position, clear out all of the positions, change the target to just the answer, come back over to the payloads, paste the list of names in the payload, remove the URL encode, and start the attack. It's all just, it's all just repetitive tasks. We just have to find one vulnerability and then we have to exploit it for a lot of these other people as well. So I hope that by now you do understand how a brute force attack is performed, how to get the required data for it, and how to exploit the vulnerabilities like so. Now let's leave this and let's do some more challenges. So I will come right over here to the scoreboard of Owasp Juice Shop. remove all of the notifications and come right over here to the gain access of any logs servers. So if you remember, we did a challenge way back, which was gaining the access to log files, which was residing in the /ftp URL. So here you can see we do have this incident support file, and if you download this, you will find inside a link which is support/logs. And once I access that, you can see we do have this access logs file right over here. And if I come back over, you can see that we do have access to the server logs. So this was pretty easy, you know, it was not a big deal. Now, another challenge that I want to do is register as a user with administrator privileges. So it's also pretty easy. The first thing I want to do is copy the URL, come back over to the Owasp shop main page. Once I'm on the main page, I will click on login and then click on not yet a customer. And I will just enter a demo user, which is demo123@gmail.com. And I will enter a demo password for him, which would be ASDF, and then enter a security question, interested or something like that. Click on register in order to examine how the registration process of Burp Suite works. Then come over to the proxy and HTTP and come back all the way down where I can find API/user. So this is the request that registers a user. So if I come over to the request, in the request we sent out the email address, the password, repeat password, and the security question. Now, if I examine the response, in the response we have a lot of some few things that are not sent in the request. One of that includes this role. So if you have built web applications, or if you have worked with web applications before, you would know that role is always used to figure out what kind of user has logged in or what kind of user is using our website. So in this case, the default registration process just registered my account as a customer, which I can change to an admin just by sending this request to the repeater and coming over to the repeater tab, inserting this role inside and just making this customer to admin. Also changing the email because we cannot register two users with one email address. The password can be same, like two users can have the same password at the same time. Once everything is set up, I will click on send, and you see that the challenge is completed, which was register as a user with administrator privileges. So we are making some really great progress, and I'm happy and satisfied with it. In the meantime, let's look at if our intruder has found something for us. Not yet. Let's do one more challenge, and that is log in with the Chris Erased user account. And we can perform the same thing, which is logging in first and then accessing the administrator link or the administration link, and then finding out the Chris's email address and then logging in with his account by SQL injection. So I'm unable to find the email address for Chris because it says that the Chris email address was erased. In that case, what I can do is I can exfiltrate the entire database and get all of the credentials from the user table, and I can get the email address of Chris that way. But before doing that, let's check our intruder. So the intruder didn't find anything. Let's close it out. It's useless. We need to find another list for that and then do the same thing. But I'm not going to do that in this video. Let's look at if we can log in with somebody else username and password. So we did the vendor, we did the admin one. Let's first do the password reset for Bjoern. In the Bjoern case, I will just click on forgot my password. Just to give you a hint, in the Bjoern case, there was a problem. Like, it wasn't straightforward, an email address and a security question, because I tried to brute force it and I tried to find his email, but there was a lot of different emails of Bjoern. So for me, it was not possible to do that. The second attempt that I took was to get all of the data from the database by grabbing all of the data from user table, from the security question and the security answer. But that thing didn't work, but that technique didn't work as well, because the security answers are stored in the database in encrypted form. So getting those answers and extracting those answers and decrypting those answers were a big hassle. So what I did was I made a quick Google search on this challenge, like just by copying this challenge and pasting it into Google. And what I found out was this page, which says that hints to the answer of Bjoern question can be found by looking up on the internet. More precisely, Bjoern might have accidentally exposed himself in a video. So on searching more in the YouTube and finding the exact video, I just found out the video, which I would link it down in the description. If you're interested, you can watch it completely. And I just copied and pasted this link, and now I have to prove that I'm not a robot. Okay, so once the video gets opened up, I can go over to somewhere like 4 minutes and 9 seconds, and there I can find the answer to all of my question or answer to this challenge. Now right over here you can see the Bjoern's email address as well as the Bjoern security question, which is bjoern@owasp.org, and the security question is Zaya. So let's try that out and figure out if that works. So for starters, I will enter the email address of Bjoern, which is bjoern@owasp.org. And in the security answer, I will enter the answer from the video. And then in the password, I will enter ASDF, 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 ASDF in the repeat password as well. Click on change. And once I click on that, you can see we have the password and username of the Bjoern. So let's log in with his account and check out what was so special in Bjoern's account. So bjoerns@owasp.org, ASDF, ASDF, click on login, and voila, you can see we have logged into his account. Now I can change his password, I can do whatever Now it's still not that big of a progress on the scoreboard, but at least I'm happy, like we did like 10 or so challenges in this video. So I'm happy with the progress, and hopefully we will do some really great stuff in the next video as well. It's okay for now. So this is pretty much it for this video. As always, stay cheeky breaky, enjoy hacking, and peace out. I'll see you in the next one.